My name is Frank and this is Healing Without Labels. This is a safe space where we talk honestly about healing, behavior, and growth without reducing people to diagnosis or labels. And today, I want us to talk about a topic that often feels very uncomfortable to name. Not everything difficult is trauma. Now, before anything else, this is not about minimizing pain. It is not about telling people to toughen up. And it is definitely not about denying real traumatic experiences. It's about understanding why calling everything trauma can actually slow down healing and why clarity matters. The word trauma used to describe very specific experiences: life or safety, severe violence or abuse, or catastrophic events. Over time, the word has expanded, especially online. Now trauma is used to describe breakups, academic pressure, financial situations, conflict, discomfort, and failure. And while all this can be painful, stressful, or overwhelming, they are not trauma in the clinical or psychological sense. When one word starts describing everything, it stops being useful. This matters because labels shape how we relate to our experiences. When every form of distress is labeled trauma, people begin to see themselves as fragile, permanently harmed, unable to cope with their interventions, and that belief quietly undermines resilience. Pain needs care. Stress needs skills. Trauma needs specialized support. Now, when we blur these distinctions, people don't get what they actually need. Let's slow this down a bit. Stress is part of being human. It signals demand and adaptation. Pain is meaningful. It tells us that something matters. Trauma overwhelms the nervous system's ability to cope and integrate experience. When we treat stress as trauma, we may avoid challenge instead of building capacity. We may seek validation instead of skill. We may confuse discomfort with danger. Healing requires accurate naming, not dramatic naming. When someone believes they are traumatized by every hard experience, then they often stop thinking, what can I do differently? Instead, the question becomes, what happened to me? Now, this shift matters. Understanding your past is important, but healing depends on present-day urgency. If everything is trauma, then nothing feels workable. Let me be very clear. Saying not everything is trauma does not mean that your pain is not real, that you are exaggerating, or others have it worse. Pain does not need to be called trauma to be taken seriously. Sometimes what someone needs the most is coping skills, emotional literacy, boundary setting, and support. They do not need a diagnosis. Respecting or caring for someone does not require labeling them as broken. Healing often looks ordinary. It looks like learning how to sit with discomfort, naming emotions accurately, practicing boundaries, building resilience through repetition. It doesn't have to be traumatic. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It is not always emotional, and it's deeply empowering. Words matter. When we name everything trauma, we risk teaching people that they are weaker than they really are. When we name experiences accurately, we give people access to the right tools. You don't need to minimize pain to support healing, and you don't need a trauma label to deserve care. Healing isn't about what happened to you. It's about what you're able to do now. That's healing without labels. If this conversation resonates with you, follow Healing Without Labels by Furaha Wellness for grounded conversations about well-being, resilience, and growth. Clarity is not cruelty. It's care. Until the next one, goodbye. Don't forget to subscribe.